An article from the Jerusalem Post highlights the assessment of Pejman Bijan, who believes that Iran's younger population, characterized as secular and pro-democracy, could significantly reshape the nation and influence the regional power dynamics. Bijan refers to this demographic as a golden generation, a term he uses politically rather than as an official or measurable category. His argument suggests that the struggles within Iran are not isolated, but are part of a broader strategic contest involving major global players such as the United States, China, Russia, and various European and Gulf Arab states. This geopolitical chess game reflects how intertwined the fate of Iran is with the interests of these nations. Bijan also critiques Europe's engagement with Iran's Islamic Republic, pointing out the lack of a cohesive foreign policy among European nations regarding the country. While his insights underscore the potential for change within Iran, they also highlight the complexity of international relations and the stakes involved in the ongoing debates about the future of the Middle East. Pejman Bijan is an Iranian-Italian associate professor of international relations at the University of Trento and has recently served as a visiting scholar at the University of California, Berkeley. His academic focus encompasses a range of topics, including Middle Eastern international relations, political Islam, and Iranian history and politics, as well as issues of democratization and security in the region. In a recent article published in the Jerusalem Post, Bijan posits that developments in Iran could significantly reshape not only the Middle East, but also the broader international balance of power. He characterizes the younger generation of Iranians as a secular and freedom-oriented group he calls the Golden Generation, although this characterization is based on his analysis rather than being a widely accepted demographic classification. Bijan has also critiqued European engagement with Iran's Islamic Republic, arguing that Europe lacks a cohesive foreign policy in relation to the country. His insights reflect a nuanced understanding of the complexities surrounding Iran's political landscape and its implications for global dynamics, emphasizing that the struggle over Iran is interlinked with competing interests from the US, China, Russia, and Gulf Arab states. Iran's current political order has its roots in the 1979 revolution, which saw the overthrow of the Pahlavi monarchy and the establishment of the Islamic Republic under the leadership of Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. This transition marked a significant shift in Iran's governance, moving from a secular monarchy to a theocratic regime that emphasizes political Islam. In recent discourse, Pejman Bijan, an Iranian-Italian associate professor of international relations, contrasts the political Islam of the post-revolutionary era with the aspirations of a younger generation he describes as secular and freedom-oriented. However, it's important to note that Bijan's characterization of this demographic as a golden generation lacks independent polling data to substantiate claims that it reflects the majority sentiment among Iranians. This contested narrative highlights the complexities within Iran's political landscape, as various factions debate the path forward amid ongoing domestic struggles and external pressures. Bijan's insights also underscore the broader implications of Iran's political dynamics in shaping the Middle East and the global balance of power. The generational and domestic struggle within Iran is characterized by a profound tension between the aspirations of its younger population and the repressive mechanisms of the state. As noted by Pejman Bijan, a significant number of Iranians, particularly the younger generation he describes as a secular, freedom-oriented golden generation, are poised to advocate for substantial political change. However, Many are hesitant to take to the streets again, largely due to fears that without credible external support, their movements could be met with severe repression. This hesitation is compounded by a climate of fear, where threats against journalists and those communicating with foreign media complicate independent reporting and the spread of information within the country. The ongoing prosecutions and executions connected to the unrest in 2026 further illustrate the grave risks faced by political opponents. Thus, the central conflict becomes evident. The public's demand for change clashes with the state's entrenched capacity for surveillance and coercion, creating a complex and fraught landscape for any potential reform. Pejman Bijan has been vocal in his criticisms of European governments, particularly regarding their past engagement with certain elements of Iran's ruling establishment, including those perceived as reformists. He contends that this approach has been detrimental, arguing that Europe's fragmented foreign policy undermines its capacity to respond effectively to not just Iran, but also to geopolitical challenges posed by Russia and China, especially in alignment with U.S. interests. In contrast, some policymakers advocate for continued engagement and diplomacy, believing that fostering economic ties can create avenues for negotiation and help avert military conflict. This ongoing debate highlights a significant divergence in strategy. While Bijan emphasizes the need for a stronger, unified European stance, others propose that maintaining channels of communication could be beneficial, even if the outcomes remain uncertain. The complexities of this discussion reveal the broader struggle within Europe to formulate a coherent policy towards Iran, reflecting the intricate balance of international relations in the region. The landscape of Middle Eastern politics is increasingly shaped by new alignments, as highlighted by Pejman Bijan's concerns about a recently formed defense pact among Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and Turkey. Bijan argues that this coalition could entrench a regional order influenced by political Islam, moving away from paths of commercial integration and political liberalization. This perspective contrasts with another emerging regional vision that prioritizes economic connectivity and political freedom, suggesting a potential conflict in how the future of the Middle East might unfold. However, it's important to note that Bijan's analysis, while insightful, reflects his interpretation rather than a universally accepted outlook on the implications of this alignment. His perspective underscores the ongoing struggle for influence in the region, where various actors, including the US, China, and Russia, are vying for strategic partnerships. Furthermore, Iran's position in this power dynamic is critical, particularly as it grapples with internal challenges and external pressures, all of which could significantly reshape not just its future, but that of the entire Middle East. Iran is strategically located beside the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial global energy chokepoint that links the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, in 2018, this strait facilitated about one-third of global seaborne oil trade and over one-quarter of global liquefied natural gas trade. This makes Iran's internal political developments not just a domestic issue, but a significant factor in global energy security, maritime access, and the balance of military power in the region. A political transition in Iran could potentially reshape its relationships with major players, including the United States, Israel, Gulf states, Europe, China, and Russia. However, the timing and direction of such changes are highly uncertain. Analysts like Pejman Bijan highlight that the younger generation in Iran, often described as a secular and freedom-oriented golden generation may be pivotal in this evolution. The outcome of their struggle for influence could have profound implications for both regional stability and international relations, intertwining Iran's fate with broader geopolitical competition. As we look to the future, several pressing questions arise regarding Iran's political landscape. Can the opposition rally together despite facing significant repression? Will the Iranian state maintain the unity of its elite and security forces? Moreover, will ongoing economic pressures lead to political concessions, or will they trigger even harsher crackdowns? Western governments find themselves in a challenging position, balancing support for Iranian civil society while maintaining diplomatic channels and avoiding actions that might be perceived as foreign meddling. Pejman Bijan, an associate professor at the University of Trento, advocates for increased support for Iranians striving for freedom and democracy. However, it's essential to recognize that external assistance can also put activists at risk, exposing them to accusations of foreign collaboration. Ultimately, while Iran's younger population, characterized by Bijan as a secular and freedom-oriented golden generation, may emerge as a pivotal force in shaping the country's trajectory, it remains uncertain when and how this transformation will occur, leaving the future of the Middle East hanging in the balance.